Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So for this video, I'm going to talk about some pop culture issues. This is less serious than my other videos. As you all know, people that watch this channel know that I'm a hip hop fan. I love hip hop. I'm an old head, so I've been here from the beginning. I've seen it, the very first forms of hip hop until today's time. So, I'm a big fan. So I'm very familiar with hip hop, and I want to talk about some things that are going on right now in hip hop. As you all know, especially my people that are into hip hop, Eminem released a song called Fall. And in that song, he disses a whole bunch of MCs, including Lord Jamar, Joe Budden, and some other people. So in response to that, there's been a lot of talk on social media. There have been songs done. And, I just want to share my thoughts about this situation. I did a prior video where I shared my views about that song, Fall. I will include that video in the cards and in the description box for those of you who haven't seen it. But in one of Eminem's songs, so he dissed Lord Jamar, and I talked about Lord Jamar's response. And Lord Jamar, instead of like doing a song, a diss song in response, Lord Jamar did a podcast that lasted for over an hour, where he was explaining his position and where he was basically talking about Eminem and this and that. So he didn't release a song, he did a podcast. And you had the same situation with Joe Budden. And, Joe Budden has this podcast that he does with these other people. And so instead of like responding to Eminem with hard lyrics or, a diss rhyme or something like that, Joe Budden gets on social media and does an interview where he provides his information about Eminem. He states his position on Eminem and this and that, basically saying that he's a better MC than Eminem, he's a better artist than Eminem, et cetera, just going on and on. And as I, watch those podcasts or, segments of Joe Budden's podcast, and as I watch Lord Jamar's podcast, while I respect them for actually saying something in their interviews, talking about Eminem, as I watched those podcasts, I just had one question. Why are you afraid of Eminem? Why are you afraid to come back at him with a diss rhyme? Why is that? Why are you shook? Why are you, in a sense, acting like cowards? I mean, especially like a Lord Jamar, somebody that talks all this, 5% rhetoric, talks about like the white man is the devil, the black man is God. Why are you going to let this quote unquote devil like one up you with his diss song and not respond to him with a diss song? Do you believe that Eminem is better than you? Do you believe that he's a better artist than you? Do you believe that? Do you believe that you don't stand a chance battling Eminem? Do you believe that? I mean, and, I'm not a big fan of Lord Jamar in terms of his music, but I like him as a commenter. I like his commentary on social justice issues. And I do have great respect for the group Brand Nubian. But it's like at some point, like if you don't stand up to this guy, and standing up it's not enough to do these long interviews, where you're talking about Eminem instead of responding to him in record, because at the end of the day, I mean, this guy spent a couple of seconds talking about you, and those negative words, those disses that he put out about you have, been broadcast around the world. Whereas you just have like a podcast where you're spending more time on him, talking about him, to a larger degree than he spent on you, but you're not having much of an impact. I think an actual song would have a greater impact. And, I do believe that you had the skills to at least respond to an Eminem. And I think that too many of these people are shook, man. They just believe that Eminem is a better MC. They believe that he's superior to them, despite all this black man is God rhetoric. So that's one thing. And then you had Joe Budden, who was going off and going on and on about how he's a better MC than Eminem. Well, prove it. Prove that you're a better MC than Eminem. Respond to this man with an actual song. It's not enough for you to do some long podcast. You have to respond to this man. Otherwise, people won't take you seriously as an MC. Many people have already written you off as like a one-hit wonder and stuff. And I know he's done these songs with Eminem, like you were on that Slaughterhouse group, on his album and this and that. And clearly he has to have some kind of respect for you to have you signed to that group and on that label and this and that. And, if you are that confident in your skills, why don't you show and prove that you're better than Eminem instead of just talking about it? Why are you afraid of him? Do you really believe that Eminem is a better MC than you? That's the question that I have for Lord Jamar and for Joe Budden. And the other thing that I want to talk about is Jay Electronica. I mean, Jay Electronica is one of my favorite MCs. He has some of the best underground hip-hop songs ever written. He's one of the best lyricists, period. And I really think that he is superior to an Eminem. I think that he has more clever wordplay. I like the content that he raps about, the substance of his rhymes, far more than I like Eminem's work. And it's just like, I just wonder about Jay Electronica because he put out this statement, and I just want to go through it real quick. And before I put out his statement, I just want to provide some background. So Eminem had this song Fall, and then, he did this other song Killshot, and then Killshot, he's dissing this other white rapper by the name of Machine Gun Kelly. And as he's dissing this guy, he basically suggests that Diddy has something to do with the killing of Tupac. He basically says that, Machine Gun Kelly had come up with a hit when Diddy admits that he killed Tupac. And basically he's saying that Machine Gun Kelly will never come up with a hit and Diddy will never confess to killing Tupac. So I'm going to read this quote. I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to read it from this particular video that I saw earlier. Actually, I saw it yesterday. I'll post a link to the video in the description box. It's a video from Hip Hop DX, and it shows Jay Electronica's tweet. And this is what Jay Electronica said. He said, "How dare you accuse Diddy of killing Tupac while you completely look past Jimmy Levine and those who profited from his death the most? You best tread carefully, son, before I come tear your ivory tower down like Suleiman done the Templar Knights." So that's what Jay Electronica had to say. And I was like, yeah, that's a powerful statement and all. But in response to that, you had all these Eminem stans, these Eminem groupies, these Eminem sycophants come after Jay Electronica on social media. They were trolling him on Instagram and on Twitter. And because of that, he decided to shut down his Twitter account and his Instagram. And, just to be blunt, man, I just think that's a bitch move to shut down your social media over some trolls, to let some trolls intimidate you. Again, Jay Electronica is one of these 5%ers, one of these people that are into the Nation of Islam's doctrine that the white man is the devil and the black man is God. Well, explain to me, how is a quote-unquote God going to let a devil run him off of social media? I mean, help me understand this. Why are you so intimidated by Eminem's stance to such a degree that you would remove your social media? I mean, how can you allow yourself to be punked out by this white boy and his groupies? I mean, these examples just make it seem like black men are afraid of Eminem. That black MCs are shook of this guy. Like, I mean, in response to this stuff, these people aren't putting out songs. Instead, they're, basically tucking their tails and running. And I expect better from these people. I expect better from a J Electronica. I mean, I expect you to maintain your square, maintain your space, and not let these people run you off of social media, man. I think that that's just all around weak. And then you have, in another category, you have these groups of black men that basically suck off Eminem, man. They basically shine his shoes and pick his cotton, like your man 50 Cent, like your man Bizarre, and like your man Royce the 5'9", man. These people are acting like Eminem's cheerleaders, man, acting like Eminem's dick riders. And it's just not a good look for black men. It's like on one hand, you got black men that are cowed by this guy. On another hand, you got these black men that are sucking up to this guy, you know, putting him on some kind of pedestal, you know, showing him all kinds of love, you know, showing him all kinds of respect that they don't show to other black MCs. Like that guy 50 Cent, he's always on social media clowning other black MCs, you know, trolling other black people. I hardly ever see this guy troll anybody white. And I understand, you know, this situation in part. I mean, Eminem owns these people, man. He literally owns them, man, because their whole career revolves around him. It's like Eminem put 50 Cent on, so he's indebted to Eminem, just like a sharecropper is indebted to the slave master or the boss. That's how 50 Cent is. That's how Bizarre is, because nobody would even know who Bizarre is if it wasn't for Eminem. So these people are indebted to him. So they act like his little slaves by, you know, doing everything to please this guy and, you know, hyping him up and defending him. You even had this guy Bizarre, and you know, I don't have any problem with Bizarre, like in terms of his social media, his personality or whatever. But when it comes to rap, I don't have much respect for him as an MC. He has this song where he's going at two black men in defense of this white boy Eminem, you know, where he's going at J Electronica and Joe Budden. And I'll post a link to his video in the description box as well so that you could check it out. But I just had to share my thoughts about this, my frustration with these black MCs. I mean, here you have an art form created by black people, and yet these black MCs are just letting this white guy run things like this. He's letting this white guy boss up on them like this, you know, disrespect them like this without retaliating, without coming back at him with any kind of song. I mean, you saw how Drake and what's his name, Pusha T, went back and forth and stuff with diss songs, but here you have a situation and nobody black has responded to him. The only person that I'm aware of that responded to this guy and song is another white guy, Machine Gun Kelly. You mean to tell me that a white artist has more heart than the black artist who created the art form? This doesn't make any kind of sense to me. And you know, before I go, I just want to share my thoughts about this this song "Killshot." Before I do, I'm going to look at this comment that Black Power 25 left. So you said you noticed that these woke, conscious rappers like Jay-Z, T.I., and Nas are silent when Eminem, a white guy, is saying he's a rap god. Man, that's a great point. Here you have Eminem saying that he's a rap god. You know, by saying that, he's basically saying that he's at the top of this rap thing. He's at the pinnacle of this rap thing. And nobody challenged that. Nobody had anything to say about that. None of the conscious rappers, you know, knowing that black people created this art form, knowing that there are so many MCs that are better than Eminem, knowing that Eminem basically bit that flow from the brother Pharoah Monch. Despite all that, nobody had the heart to call him out on that, or, you know, try to, you know, knock him off that pedestal. Because I remember when you had, like, for instance, Biggie or Jay-Z claiming that they're the king of New York. MCs got at them for claiming that. MCs competed against them for claiming that title. When T.I. was talking about he was the king of the South, people went at him because of that. But yet you had this white guy proclaiming to be the god of hip hop, the rap god, and you don't have any black MCs challenging him. None of these MCs that profess to be God, none of these 5%ers challenging this guy, challenging the person that they view as a quote unquote devil. Not a word from no one in Wu-Tang Clan, even though they all 5%ers. Not a word from, you know, Jay Electronica until recently. Not a word from Rakim. Not a word from a Common or Mos Def or anybody. They just let that ride, man. Just like these rap artists are letting Eminem basically punk them. And it's a white guy that has the nerve to respond to Eminem, but none of these other brothers, none of these brothers are responding to Eminem. Where's your heart, man? Where's your lyrics, man? Man, I just wonder what's up with Jay Electronica, man. Are you going to respond to this, man? Are you going to say anything about this stuff? You know, Joe Budden, we don't need another podcast. Lord Jamar, we don't need another podcast. We need you to come with those hard lyrics. What about Tyler, the Creator? Eminem dissed you in his song. Are you going to respond or are you going to fall back? Are y'all afraid of what the industry will do to you if you respond? Are you afraid that Eminem will close certain opportunities to you if you had a heart to speak up? I mean, you had that guy, Machine Gun Kelly, talk about how Eminem tried to prevent him from getting on that, what's his name show, this guy that used to be on MTV. I can't remember his name right now. But you all know who I'm talking about. He talked about how Eminem prevented him from getting on that show. Eminem like held up certain opportunities for him. But still, this guy can, you know, went ahead and put out a diss song in response to Eminem. And you mean to tell me that none of these black MCs that Eminem dissed had the courage to speak out, man? That's a damn shame to me. So I'm going to read your comments real quick, and then I'm going to close out with my assessment of this Killshot song that Eminem put out. Yeah, so Macom said at this point, left white folks have Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem. Real hip hop fans listen to artists like Redman, Mos Def, and Fabulous. Yeah, I hear you on that, man. But it's like the sad thing is, man, it's like these white artists like Eminem, you know, they're just placed on a pedestal, man, and just by virtue of their identity and the nature of the demographics in this country, they're gonna automatically sell a lot more records than a black MC that's just as good, man. And I just think that that needs to be addressed. I think that people need to directly address that, and I think that these black MCs that Eminem dissed, they need to respond to him. They can't just fall back and let him diss them. I mean, it's just like reputation in the hood and stuff like that. If you get punked in the hood, nobody's going to have respect for you. And these guys, by allowing Eminem to punk them, they are losing the respect of the hip hop community, man. They don't have a leg to stand on. And Eminem is not even all that, man. He's a good MC, as I've said in prior videos. But I'm sure that some of these people, they can respond to him. Definitely a Jay Electronica could respond and get at him. And people keep saying that Joe Budden is a good lyricist. I don't follow Joe Budden like that. All I know is that one song that he has that was a big hit, you know, years ago or whatever. That song, Pump It Up. You know which song I'm talking about. Pump It Up, that joint. But yeah, I mean, I think that at least according to what people are saying, he should be able to respond to Eminem. And it's just like, what are you waiting for? You got this white guy, Machine Gun Kelly, who's capitalizing on this drama, you know, so that he could move some units. He has some CD coming out or whatever, and he's using this whole beef to market his album. But you got these black MCs that are just sitting back. They're gonna let this ride, man. They don't have nothing to say in response to Eminem. And you know, a while ago, I saw that Remy Ma was basically saying the same thing to Joe Budden. She was like, "Why aren't you going to respond to Eminem? You know, why aren't you responding to him?" And I understand that she did an interview with Joe Budden. I didn't see that interview, but she raised the question. Just as an MC, she can't respect a man that doesn't have the heart to stand up and defend himself and to respond to these kind of disses. So I just think that this is a low point in hip hop, man. If these guys just sit back and let this white guy just say what he want to say without responding, without retaliating. I mean, it's a damn shame that Jay Electronica would let some punk ass trolls run him off social media, man. Let these delusional Eminem dick riders drive him off social media, man. It just makes no sense to me. You know, and I like that tweet that Jay Electronica put out. That tweet was hard, but a song would be even harder, man. If you felt offended by those statements that Eminem made in that song about Diddy, get at him. Hit him with some hard lyrics, man. We know you got it in you. So what are y'all waiting for, man? So I'm going to look at your comments. Yeah, Jay Electronica should drop an album, man. And if he drops one, he should include a diss to Eminem in that album. You know, people have been waiting for years for Jay Electronica to release an album. I don't know what he's waiting for, man. I don't know what the holdup is. You know, this brother has all these songs that he's constantly releasing on the underground level, but he won't release an album. I mean, what is he waiting for, man? He's going to miss his moment. He's going to miss his moment to shine, man. Because I'm sure that if he put out an album, a solid project is typical of the work that we've heard over the years, it would eclipse all these other MCs, period. He's just that good. You know, he's one of the best in the game, man. And it's just a shame if he just lets that fall to the wayside. Just like, you know, cannabis. Back in the day, cannabis had all this promise, all this potential, and he squandered it. And now where is he? He's at such a low degree that he got defeated in one of these rap battles by one of these battle rap artists. You know, somebody that's not even signed. Somebody in the big scheme of things is a nobody. You know, he kind of reminded me of one of those washed up boxers, you know, that's out of shape that gets knocked out by the young guy. That will be Jay Electronica if he doesn't get out here and step his game up and step up his ambition and put out some albums. What are you waiting for, Jay Electronica? Why are you shelving your stuff, man? And part of me wonders if it has something to do with Rock, if they're deliberately, you know, the Rock, if they're deliberately holding up his projects. I don't know if that's the case or not. But, you know, the projects are going to get stale if they stay on the shelf too long. You know, if they stay on the shelf too long, the slang, for instance, in the songs are going to be outdated and stuff, and it's not going to fit with the modern times. So he needs to put his stuff out as soon as possible. Otherwise, he's going to miss his moment. Just like, you know, you had MCs, like one of the best MCs, one of my favorite MCs is Buckshot. But where's Buckshot today? Where's Cannabis today? People barely even talk about them or barely even mention them, even though they had so much promise before. So I'm going to close out by talking about this Killshot. So I heard that song Killshot when it was released. I think it was this past Friday. I listened to it. Eminem had some clever responses to Machine Gun Kelly. He had some, you know, hard-hitting lyrics and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not feeling that song. I'm not feeling it because it sounds like it was a forced project. It doesn't sound like it came from his heart. It's not something that you can actually feel. It's not one of those diss songs that feels genuine. And the beat from that song is subpar. You know, it has a subpar beat. That song does not measure up to any of the diss classic songs, like even some of 50 Cent's song, like What Up Gangster or Wankster. This song doesn't measure up to those songs. It's not as catchy as those songs that 50 Cent put out back in the day, which are a part of his classic album. It's nowhere near the level of an Ether. It's nowhere near the level of Jay-Z's Takeover or Tupac's Hit 'Em Up or Tupac's Against All Odds. It's nowhere near that level. It's nowhere near the level of The Bridge Is Over by KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions. It's just not on the level that somebody would expect from an Eminem. Even though his wordplay is clever, it doesn't have the same kind of energy as his other diss songs, like his song Warning Shot that he put out against Mariah Carey, or even the songs that he had against Benzino. I think this guy is overhyped, and I think that a lot of people are just on his nuts, man. The song is okay as far as I'm concerned. The lyrics are good. He does have some clever disses, but Machine Gun Kelly's song just felt like it was more authentic. The points that he made in his song were more real. Now, it's not better in terms of like the number of disses or the wordplay or anything like that, but you could feel that song. You could tell that it's a real song. So those are my thoughts about that Killshot song and my thoughts about these black MCs that don't have a heart to stand up to Eminem. You all are making hip hop look bad, man. You're making the black community look bad. I mean, here you got this white guy who is an outsider, as Lord Jamar lays out in his analogy of hip hop being a house, and you have this guest Eminem basically coming in the house running shit, and these black MCs are sitting back and letting this happen, and that's a damn shame. So let me go through your comments before I close out. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I know this is a little bit different from what I usually talk about, but every now and then I like to talk about, these pop culture issues, especially hip hop. Y'all already know, for the people that are familiar with this channel. Yeah, so Macom says, the music industry has always elevated white artists over black ones. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like white artists that play black music, they get more attention. They get celebrated more, even though, like, for instance, a singer, they can be a great singer, but there are other black singers that are just as good, but they're not going to sell simply because, to the same degree, simply because of the demographics. Okay, so I see that somebody in the chat room says that Lord Jamar is not a battle rapper. Plus, Lord Jamar did go on record in a Vlad interview saying that Eminem was a better rhymer. Yeah, I understand that he's not a battle rapper. And I think that that's a shame that he would get on Vlad and, basically say that he's not as good a rapper as Eminem. Like, even if he felt that way, that's not something that you say as an MC. MCs are supposed to be confident. MCs are supposed to be cocky. Like, even these mumble rappers, even though they know they're not lyricists or whatever, a lot of them still stand by their form of rap. You got some of these guys saying, well, I'm not going to get on here and kick a freestyle. I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about lyrics. I'm just going to say something that's lit, something that gets people turned up and all that kind of stuff. They have confidence. I mean, for Lord Jamar to get on there and say he's not a good, as good as Eminem, I just think that that's a sign of weakness. Even if he felt that that's true, you got to at least project yourself as being confident. And even though you're not a quote unquote battle rapper, somebody that, does these freestyle battles and all that kind of stuff, you still should be able to stand up for yourself as a man. And I saw that interview where he was basically saying, well, he's not about battling. He's about information and this and that. That's what he was about, like dropping knowledge and stuff like that. And to some degree, I get that. But if somebody is challenging you, somebody's dissing you, and somebody's literally coming in your house, putting their feet on the table, disrespecting you in your own house, and you don't have the nerve to respond back to them in a like fashion, you're gonna lose respect. You're gonna lose cool points, as far as I'm concerned, man. And that's what's happening with Lord Jamar. And I get that he's not like a battle rapper or whatever, but he could step his game up. If he can rhyme about knowledge, then he can rhyme about anything if he chooses to. So let's see. Shout out to Rosalind. Much respect. Reg the bad guy says they got to stand up for hip hop. Yeah, they do. They got to stand up for the culture, man. They're going to let this culture vulture just come in the house and kick over the stuff and put his dirty feet on the couch and all that kind of stuff and not say anything to him, not respond to him with lyrics. It's like somebody's coming at you with a gun, busting off shots at you, and these guys are responding with a water gun. He got a real gun, and they responding to him with a water gun, like in the form of these long ass podcasts where they spend hours basically giving Eminem free promotion instead of dealing with him, instead of destroying him. Man, I just expect better from these MCs, man. So much better. Yeah, black MCs are the best. I mean, they need to act like it though, man. Yeah, so I see that Macom says that, for instance, he says Billy Ocean comes out, White Industry puts out Michael McDonald, Jody Wiley comes out, comes popular, and then they bring out Taylor Dane, the same old formula. Yeah, I hear y'all. I feel what y'all are saying. But yeah, I don't want to draw this out. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I just wanted to hop on here and share my views about this particular topic. Tell me what you all think. And before I go, I just want to remind you all that on September 30th, which is a Sunday, I will be interviewing media mogul Brittany Mitchell. And I hope you all can tune in for that. It should be a great discussion. She's worked with all kinds of entertainers. She has a book that she's putting out called Point and Drive that talks about her experience on a marching band and how it has taught her life lessons and lessons that people can learn from that experience to be more driven and more accomplished in life. So I hope that you all can check that out and just hear the interview. She's going to talk about a lot of great things. It should be a great discussion. This will be a Google Hangout. So with that, I'm going to say, let me see if anybody left any more comments before I go. Yeah, I see there are a couple of more comments, so I'm going to respond to those real quick, look those over before I close out. So Black Power 25 said most black MCs like Jay-Z are coons. Now, I don't know if I would call Jay-Z a coon. Like, I could understand why somebody would say that earlier on in his career. But now I've seen him do great things. Like, he's given money to social justice causes and other causes, different charities. They've done great work in that area. And I commend that work. He's helped free fathers from jail on Father's Day. He's done some great things. That I commend, that I respect. He helped put out that documentary on Trayvon Martin. So I have, I have new respect for Jay-Z based on what he's doing now. and the fact that he's taking his music away from, you know, glorifying drug dealing and gang lifestyle and all that kind of stuff, I can respect that. So I'm not going to say that he's a coon, but there are a lot of MCs that do fall into that category. A lot of these MCs that promote negative stereotypes about black people, you know, promote the stereotype that black men are criminals, drug dealers and killers and pimps, drug abusers and all that kind of stuff, womanizers and women abusers and manipulators. Yeah, so I understand why you're saying that a lot of MCs are coons, especially when you look at how these people like Royce the 5'9" and Bizarre and 50 Cent, how they're defending their white daddy, Eminem. Yeah, you could say that a lot of these guys are coons, man, but I don't think that Jay-Z is in that category anymore. So I see that somebody's saying that Eminem was dissed by Casual, a known battle rapper. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't keep up with a lot of the battle rappers. I don't follow that scene. I'm more like into just MCs that have albums out, whether they're underground or not. So I'm gonna have to get into that. And also, I know that Mason basically, you know, he's a battle rapper or rapper. He was critical of that Killshot song, which everybody is praising and bowing down before, like it's the best song ever, when it's not even all that compared to the other diss songs that I mentioned earlier. Excuse me. Okay, so just bear with me real quick. Yeah, so yeah, I've heard of hieroglyphics, and I'm familiar with some of their songs, but I'm not familiar with the group like that. I'm not really up on Casual, so I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, I know about Dale the Funky Homo Sapien. You know, I'm familiar with him, but I'm just not familiar with this Casual guy. I'm gonna have to look him up. But with that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with your man, New Possibilities, late in the night. I truly appreciate it. You know, I hope that people who are watching this video, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. If you don't have the notifications turned on, hit that bell and so you can receive those notifications, and like this video so that we can spread the word about this channel. Help me get my subscribers up as well. Subscribe and also encourage your friends to subscribe and share my videos. With that, I'm going to say peace and blessings to y'all. Good night.